Well, here we are with another exciting episode of solar pad concrete or whatever. This is the where we left off. This is the third pour, and you can see it's been troweled. It's looking pretty decent. I mean, we could put tile right over top that without a 2-inch mud bid. And he's starting to bring down bags for the next thing. That's Boyette the foreman. We have this two-wheeled cart. They don't like to roll that downhill over rough ground for some reason, so we bought them a wheelbarrow. But apparently they're using the wheelbarrow and this right now, so he's using that. The piece of wood in there is not something he's bringing down. It's to put the bags back here to improve the balance point for going downhill. And he's taking those out of there by himself. When they're up that high, you can do that, but you can't. You can't snatch 120 pounds off the ground. You know, just the strength of your back. That would hurt somebody. So we use two guys to get them up off the ground, one guy to carry them. This is him coming in. He's got a little piece of plywood and a 2 by something or other there. Just so it doesn't drop 6 or 8 inches when it comes out onto the concrete. Just stocking bags. That's what we do. The water barrels are empty, so they've moved them, but they haven't filled them. Apparently there's a hose going into number 2. I guess they put numbers on them. Oh, just bringing down bags. Okay, this would be Benji. And he's chipping out the parting boards that was in here for this last pour. And you see there's some concrete slop down here under the rebar. Now there's plenty of space between that little bit of stuff on the bottom and the rebar. But because it's on plastic, they can tap that with a stick and just sweep it right out of there. It won't stick to that tarpaulin. If it does, it comes right off. You know, it's not stuck. It's just in contact with it. And then he has to put the what we call biscuits underneath of this bar to pick it up to the 3 bar diameters. And you don't ever lay rebar right on the ground. They have that down there so they can roll the concrete mixer back and forth across it. Okay, this is Al. He's putting parting barriers in. You can use those barriers until the water delaminates them. Because we use notched boards, that's a 2 by 3 standing on edge with a notch where the rebar goes. All the grids are exactly the same. So if you make a set of parting boards, in this case they're across a 4-foot width of something, they'll fit any time you pour concrete. And if you need a short piece, you can overlap them. We don't have to have a perfectly straight edge when we're pouring concrete next to concrete. In fact, it's probably stronger, locked together better if you offset every other one. And he's going to leave the thickness of the parting board is about as close as he'll get to that next rebar. I would wish they would put 2 of them in there to give more wrap on the or more cover on the rebar for the section they're not pouring. But I'm not over there, and I don't try to second guess them on everything. It's way more than it needs to be to keep grass from growing, and that's the major purpose of this concrete, is keep the grass from growing up under the solar panel, so if we have a brush fire, we don't burn all the wiring and buckle the panels and things. And this is Boyette starting his collection of new bags. They fill them for like a whole day and part of another day, and then like in the morning they'll move bags when it's cooler, and then they'll keep on filling. We spend about 2 days getting all the materials there right next to where you're going to pour it. That's the water, the gravel, the sand, not the cement. They bring the cement out the day of the pour. And that's going to be, for what they're doing right now, it's 37 bags to 39 bags. is 6 pours on that one slab. We don't generally break slabs up into multiple pours, but we can't afford to labor for 11 people the whole time we're gone. So we have Boyette, 2 of his brothers, Benji and Al, the phantom employee, which is the electric bill from the guy next door. We just pay him for a laborer that doesn't exist. It works for us. And then now we've got sort of a daycare center going on the site. Lucas, we call him Boy. Lucas had a son named Louis and his wife, and they're living in the house on the property. And since she's there watching her boy, she can watch Bia. That's the long-haired girl that pours concrete with us. She's working as a nanny in Manila right now. But so she can't have her little boy with her because she's working to do that job for somebody else. So Carla, we were paying Carla to babysit the boy when Bia was working, but since she's up there, she's paying Carla. So that's not an employee at this point because you can't pay somebody to watch their own child. But, you know, she gets, everything that everybody else gets. She got a roof over her head and food to eat and utilities are paid and any, dental care and pharmacy prescriptions, all that kind of stuff. Just not a paycheck. Okay, the mixer, they must have rolled it off this as they finished that pour, and it's got a bunch of stuff laying all over top of it. Now they'll sweep that up the next day or two. This what was a 2 foot high form here. When we did the house walls, we have 8 foot tall form built just like this. Double panel form with access holes to reach in, tighten bolts, and plus we use the electric wrench on the 16-inch opening between the 2 back panels. But anyway, those were offset 3.5 inches from the 8 foot tall form, and that forms the form for the beam because we pour the walls and the beams at the same time. Anyway, he used it for a ramp to get the mixer from there down onto here as they finished that slab. This is showing us that they remembered to change the oil in the mixer motor when they hit about 100 bags or 150 bags. If you turn the gas off, there's a valve on the tank. I'm thinking it's right in here. It might be turned the other way. It turns to the front. But if you turn that gas off when you're done with the mixer for the day and just let it run till it quits running, you'll take all the gas out of the carburetor so you haven't got any varnish and stuff in the carburetor. Plus, being that it's turned off, it's not constantly filling the float bowl back up and evaporating more varnish. If you don't run it till it quits, you'll be buying motors. Because you take this sludge bowl off the bottom, and you got to knock a pin out of that zinc casting to get the needle and seat cleaned. And the little tabs on the carburetors break. It's just corroded solid. You can put them in muriatic acid for a few seconds and get a lot of it off, but it doesn't get up in that crack enough to free that pin. So you put it back together, there's at least one tab. When you broke too much of it, then it's 2,500 pesos for another carburetor. And generally, we just buy an engine. So we got like 3 blocks that are in good running condition, just need carburetors. Anyway, he's changing oil. We use Castrol GTX. He's got 20W50 here. That's our preferred oil, the 2050. Being it's in the tropics, we can use straight 50. If the bicycle shop is out of the 2050, we just get straight 50. We can't use 30 weight in these air-cooled engines in the Philippines. Not in the motorcycle either. If you read your owner's manual, they want you to use 50 weight. because the air temperature is so hot that it just damages the motors. And these motors, we got some of them going back to 2014. It's not, it's not like you're buying them all the time. Okay. The ones they were accumulating bags for, they're pouring that, and that's boy doing finishing work. This little bit of you see little trails here on the surface around here. When they're done, this is all cement paste, just cement and water. And when it dries, won't look at that thick when the water goes out of it. But you can take a square front shovel and just run hold it near flat and run it across that, and that stuff comes right off down to a solid piece of concrete. We don't mind that little bit of stuff because it's like I say, it's to keep grass from growing. It's not a structure. Well, it's structural, but not like anything we do that's a building. And okay, we know they did 2 corners here and a corner down here that's out of sight. So this is the one that connects the 2 bottom corners. This is south side middle. And that's southeast corner, northeast corner. I'm assuming that they're going to do this this block here, this between these next. Especially since there's a water barrel sitting here. And they're starting to accumulate rocks and sand. See, this concrete's fresh, so there's no mixer sitting up here. But in about 2 days when they pour that, they'll have the mixer located right in here someplace. So they can, they'll probably take the mixer out on there and dump it as they mix it. Just mix it, turn the mixer over, roll the mixer, 5 feet and do it again. And they pick the rebar up and put it on the little biscuits as they go. And there's our spare mixer still trapped on the roof. I'm just afraid somebody hurts itself. We can take it apart and bring it down, but it's awkward and it's reasonably heavy. There's not a piece of it I can't pick up by myself, and 2 Filipinos can definitely pick it up. But it's just so much vertical drop. I don't want to hurt anybody, so we're going to leave it on the roof for now. Let's go on to the coming attractions next. Being that this is, for us, it's a short video.